Ever noticed how the second we spot a crooked frame, we just have to straighten it? It's almost like a reflex. But have you ever wondered why? What is it about that slight misalignment that makes us want to fix it so badly? Alright, here's the thing. I'm sure you've seen a picture frame like this, crooked, out of place. It bothers you, doesn't it? But why? Why does this tiny thing cause such a strong reaction? It's like our brain just knows something is wrong and we can't rest until it's fixed. But we're going to explore why that is today. This isn't just about being a neat freak or obsessive. It's about our brain and its need for order. When things are off, we feel it and we instinctively want to set it right. In fact, the moment we spot a misalignment, our brain's wiring kicks in. It triggers a response in our brain's cognitive centers for our need of symmetry and closure. And when we fix it, that's when our brain rewards us with a nice little dopamine boost. Well, as we dig deeper into this, we'll understand better why our brains crave closure and symmetry, how these simple actions connect to our deeper psychological needs. And it's not just about the frame, it's about how we make sense of the world around us. Our brains are wired to love symmetry. But why? Well, symmetry is tied to survival. A symmetrical face, for example, suggests good health and strong genes. And in the animal kingdom, symmetry is a sign of strength and fitness. And that is key to reproduction and evolution. Take a look at this and think about it. If you had to pick between these two apples, which one would you trust? Your brain isn't just guessing here, it's built to prefer the one that looks more uniform, because historically, that meant it was less likely to make you sick. And let's be honest, it just looks more appetizing. Research backs this up. Studies show that symmetrical visuals trigger the brain's reward center, releasing dopamine, the same chemical that makes you feel good when you eat chocolate or win a game. And that is why symmetrical faces seem more attractive. They're easier for our brains to process and oddly satisfying. But perfect symmetry isn't real. It's like the unicorn of the real world. Sure, it sounds great, but good luck finding it. Even in nature where things are so harmonious, trees twist, rivers bend, and honeycombs. Okay, honeycombs are annoyingly perfect, but you get the point. Imperfection is everywhere, and yet our brains see it and go, hey, close enough. Now, symmetry isn't just about faces or fruit, it's everywhere. In nature, in art, and even architecture. Honeybees build symmetrical hives because they're structurally efficient. Snowflakes? They form intricate patterns due to their molecular structure. In fact, our love for symmetry is so ingrained that we feel uneasy when things are off balance. And that's where the crooked frame comes into picture. But don't worry, it's not OCD, it's biology. And as we're about to see, there's a lot more behind that instinct. Straightening a crooked frame isn't just about symmetry. It's about how your brain organizes the world around you. Enter Gestalt psychology, a field that explains how we turn chaos into meaningful patterns. Here's an example. What do you see here? It's not a random curve. Your brain automatically fills in the gap and says, hey, it's a circle. This is called the principle of closure. Your brain hates loose ends, so it finishes the image for you. Here's another one. Your brain connects the dots to form a triangle even though there isn't one. It's like a mental shortcut designed to save you time. Another principle is continuity. When you see lines or shapes, your brain assumes it'll keep going in the same direction. And if it doesn't, it feels jarring. This need for order is why misaligned objects can feel so distracting. Again, it's not OCD. It's your brain trying to restore balance. And then there's this. If this doesn't bother you, congratulations on achieving nirvana. These Gestalt principles don't just explain why we straighten out frames. They also reveal how we perceive art, designs, and even daily interactions. Everything we see is subconsciously organized into patterns that make sense to us. And when something's out of place, your brain doesn't just notice it, it demands a fix. So why does a crooked frame bother us so much? Part of it is biological, but there is also a psychological layer to it. When you see something out of place, your brain's visual processing center notices the mismatch. That triggers let me get this right, the anterior cingulate cortex, the part of your brain that's responsible for conflict resolution and decision making. Essentially, your brain is screaming, "Fix this!" and it won't let go of that feeling until the environment is back in order. Now, this is closely tied to our need for cognitive closure, the desire to resolve ambiguity and complete unfinished tasks. Here's a fun fact. Researchers have found that misaligned objects can increase cortisol, the stress hormone, in some people. For people with obsessive compulsive tendencies, this need for order is amplified. While it's normal to feel slight discomfort from disorder, OCD can make it overwhelming and make it a cycle of compulsion and relief. Understanding this helps us see how deeply rooted our reactions to disorder are. Our love for order isn't new. Cultures throughout the history have celebrated symmetry and alignment with beauty, power, and balance. Take the pyramids of Giza, for example. Nearly flawless symmetry. Or the Taj Mahal, a masterpiece of balance and harmony. These weren't just built to impress, they were designed to feel just right. And then there's art. In Renaissance, symmetry was the hallmark of perfection. Artists like Da Vinci used techniques like the golden ratio to create an art form that mesmerizes us to this date. Interestingly, cultural preferences for symmetry can vary. In the West, symmetry often symbolizes perfection and order, whereas in the Eastern side, there's a greater appreciation for asymmetry and imperfection. This difference shows how cultural values can shape perception to beauty and order. Today, symmetry is everywhere, from buildings we live in to the apps we use. It's a timeless principle that continues to shape our world. You know those oddly satisfying videos we just can't stop watching? Whether it's a perfect paint pour or a cake being sliced just right, there's something irresistibly calming about those videos. But why? What's happening in our brains that makes these videos so addictive? It's all about the same principle: symmetry, order, and the joy of completion. These videos tap directly into our brain's reward center, giving us a hit of that sweet dopamine. It's also about anticipation. When you know something will end perfectly, like a chain of dominoes falling, it will just keep you hooked. Completion and order aren't just visual, they're emotional. They bring a sense of calm and control in an otherwise chaotic world. There's something incredibly powerful about bringing order to chaos. It's not just about straightening a picture frame. It's about completing an experience. Whether it's tidying up your workspace or finishing a project, these acts of completion have a deeper impact on our well-being. If you're anything like me, you've had these moments where you just can't focus because of the mess around you. It's like a brain is telling you, fix this and everything will be okay. And as soon as you do, there's a sense of calm. It's like magic. But why does it work so well? Cognitive closure again. It's why we feel so accomplished after finishing something, even something small. Getting rid of clutter doesn't just mean tidying up your workspace. It also clears your mind. It's like giving yourself a mental high five. The need for order extends into every part of our life. Whether it's setting your keys in the same place every day, organizing your digital files, or just having a set routine, creating a sense of order gives us predictability and control. Order gives us stability and efficiency, making our daily tasks easier to manage. We feel a sense of accomplishment, like we've just crossed a mental checklist. It's this satisfaction that fuels us for the upcoming task. That's why we often feel an incredible sense of pride when we complete a long-term goal. The feeling of order and closure brings in peace of mind and boosts self-esteem. In the end, our need for symmetry and order is more than just aesthetic. It's about mental clarity, emotional satisfaction, and the simple joy of completion. Even the smallest action reminds us that we can create balance in a world that often feels out of control. So the next time you see yourself straightening out a picture frame or tidying up your workspace, just remember, it's not just about the act, it's about you. It's about your brain and your need for order. And hey, if it makes you feel good, why not embrace it?